All right, welcome back to the KFYR Plus News Desk. And today we're joined by Beatty Carmichael, author of Outrageous Peace. Now, exploring why peace keeps slipping away despite our best efforts and how releasing hidden internal friction can restore calm naturally without force, discipline, or even trying harder for people who feel overwhelmed. Beatty, welcome to the News Desk. Thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
So many of our viewers are doing everything they've been told now to do. They've had therapy books, there's been mindfulness and habits, yet peace still eludes them. Why do you think this is so common?
I think a lot of times we think that peace is something that we create from the outside, a
Hmm.
calm environment or just managing things in our lives, but really peace comes from the inside. It's an internal issue. And once we understand the internal component of this alignment process within our lives, then peace always is going to kind of thin away. Once you understand it, then you can restore it, and it works pretty easily.
And when someone says, I'm doing everything right, but it's not working, what does that signal to you?
You know, it signals really kind of a misunderstanding. Let me see if this makes sense. If you think about a three-legged stool, when all three legs are strong, the stool is steady, and that represents our life. The three legs in our lives is mental, physical, and spiritual. Not a religious spiritual, but a spiritual that just says it's neither mental or physical. And what happens with peace is when the spiritual part of us is out of alignment with what's true for ourselves, we're holding on to something internally that we probably should just release. It puts strain on the other two legs, and there's this underlying current of tension in our life, irritability, anxiety, darkness, heaviness. And no matter how hard we work on the outside to discipline ourselves or set goals to do better, it won't release what's actually on the inside.
You suggest that peace isn't lost because people aren't trying hard enough. What actually causes peace now to slip away?
Peace is not based on effort. This is the thing that's hard for most people to grasp until they understand it. Let me give you an example. Someone's hurt you that's very close to you, and now there's unforgiveness. That level of unforgiveness in your life creates this ongoing tension that impacts everything you do. So it doesn't matter how hard you work on the outside to restore peace back into your life. What's actually going on is something on the inside. And once you release that tension, it's a little process I call name it, locate it, and then release it. So the naming it might be, I just have this constant tension. What's going on? Locating it, you give your inner self this permission just to identify what is it holding on to that it
Hmm.
should release. And you remember this person hurt me many years back. And then you simply release it. I release that person. I forgive them. It doesn't mean that I have to condone what they did, but I simply release the hold that I've been holding on to. And what happens is then peace restores naturally. So it doesn't take any work. It simply is from the inside, releasing what should never have been there to begin with.
Is it as easy as that? Just saying, you know what, I forgive you or I release myself from
Yeah.
that pain?
Yeah, let me give you a real example. About 6 weeks ago, an acquaintance of mine came up and we were talking, and he was saying that he's got this anxiety that's just tearing him up. He went to the doctor about 6 months ago. The doctor said, well, you're going to have it the rest of your life, so let's get you on meds. And I said, well, it's a lot easier than that. I help people get rid of anxiety all the time. I said, when did it begin? He said, about a year and a half ago, my wife had a breast exam and they found lumps, and I became really afraid. I said, well, that's the source. You're holding on to fear. And I simply guided him to release the fear. It doesn't change the outcome, but it releases the fear that has a hold on him. By the end of the
Hmm.
day, the
Hmm.
anxiety was totally gone and it never returned. So it really is that simple once you understand the process. And that's what the whole reason for Outrageous Peace is to guide people through the simple process to understand it, how to identify it, and how to release it.
You use the term internal misalignment. What does that mean in simple everyday language?
Simple everyday language, think about your conscience. When you do something wrong, you know you did wrong. A lot of times we simply sweep it under the rug and move on.
Hmm.
And this internal alignment is simply releasing. If you did something wrong, just confess to yourself, I did wrong. I'm sorry. I'm just going to let it go. I can't do anything about it, so I'm going to let it go. And it's really that. It's just allowing yourself to let go internally of what a lot of times we hold on to. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, I can totally understand that. Why are many self-help and stress management approaches, why are they unable to resolve this misalignment?
It's just like what happened with the doctor and my friend. They think it's either mental or physical or something from the outside, so we try to fix the outside symptom when what's actually happening is an inside cause. And once you fix the cause of that symptom, it disappears. And that's why a lot of these things are looking at it from a mental or physical standpoint, but they just don't, they forget that there's a third leg in our life. You can't quite quantify it, but you can recognize it. And once you get that third leg back strong again, then it just balances out.
You teach a simple three-step path for releasing internal pressure. Can you walk us
Yeah.
through some of those steps, please?
Yeah, so the first thing is you have to name it. You have to give it. You have to acknowledge it, right? You can't just hide it. I'm dealing
Hmm.
with anxiety, okay? Or maybe like another lady I've worked with, she was dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, and then you have to locate it. A lot of times when we do something that we're holding on to, it's where our conscience tells us we need to do something about it, and we just push it aside. We don't want to deal with it. And now our conscience is just kind of holding on to it. So we have to give our conscience, this inner self of what we have, permission and freedom in a safe space to find what we're holding on to. So, like I guided this lady named Susan and to identify what is going on with this tension that's creating rheumatoid arthritis. And eventually, it wasn't like immediately necessarily, but something came up, and it was her sister many years back did something against her mom, and this was an unforgiveness as well, and she'd never forgiven her sister. So now that you've located it, right, then the third step is to release it. She released the hold that unforgiveness had on her. She simply forgave her sister internally. It's not something that she calls up. She just said, "I'm going to release my sister." By the next day, her arthritis pain was gone. She checked back with me 5 weeks later and said, "It's never returned." So it's as simple as that. There's a process, but it's simply naming what's going on, giving yourself the permission to surface whatever it may be holding on to that could be causing that, and then simply releasing it.
And what changes do people notice when peace starts returning naturally?
One of the biggest things is you'll feel like you've been carrying around a load of bricks on your back all this time, and all of a sudden that load is lifted. There's a lightness. Sometimes as we go through life, there seems like a darkness in our life, and that darkness disappears. A lot of times the irritability, like there's a neighbor in my neighborhood that has a sticker on the back of her card, "I run to get the crazies out." Well, running won't get the crazies out. The crazy is this misalignment internally. And so there's irritability, always angry, always have a short fuse. You'll see those things just kind of diminish away. And what peace is when nothing on the inside is destabilized. You can have all this chaos in your life, but inside, you're just rock solid. And that's what peace feels like. It's nothing inside is out of whack. It's a feeling that until you experience it, it's just like unbelievable.
For someone watching who feels discouraged because nothing else has worked, what would you want them to know?
There's still hope, right? The doctors aren't always right, just like Susan with the arthritis or my friend with the anxiety. And when you start to look at the third leg in our lives, all kinds of things become possible. And that's the main thing to get away with outrageous peace. It guides you through. Chapter 8 is actually a very simple, non religious meditative prayer that just walks you through how to let your inner self just identify what it's holding on to and let it go and then start to receive that. So biggest message is hope is possible still, and Maybe it's just looking in a different direction. That's what Outrageous Peace is all about.
Is this book recommended for everyone, Beatty, for those that are feeling perfectly fine with their lives and where they're at, or is it open for everybody that may have some stress or dealing with some anxiety in their life?
Yeah, it's really open for anyone that either they or their loved one. Like the deeper part of there's a second book I wrote that goes into a deeper aspect of this where I teach at a women's addiction recovery center. And by helping people simply release things that they've been holding on to, I'm seeing addictions disappear. I'm seeing chronic pain disappear, anxiety, persistent sicknesses. So anything that is persistent in your life or a loved one, Outrageous Peace really is for those people, and it starts the process. And so, yeah, I mean, if your life is perfect, you're pinching yourselves, nothing wrong is going in life, things can come against you, and you're rock solid like Superman or Superwoman, you don't need it. But if you've got loved ones or something in your life that's just always there, and this is the thing really that I wanted to stress is a lot of times we think these things are normal. Rheumatoid arthritis, normal. Anxiety, normal. Heaviness, normal. It's not normal. It's a sign or a signal, usually that something else is out of whack. And if you can just identify what's out of whack and resolve it, then all these signals disappear.
Sure. Where can people learn more about this method, Beatty, and your work in Outrageous Peace?
Yes, best place to go is simply outrageouspeace.com. That's the best place to find out about the book, learn more about it. You can get it. You can reach out to me, but outrageouspeace.com.
All right. Beatty Carmichael, author of Outrageous Peace. Thank you, Beatty. We sure appreciate your insights today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Have a great weekend. Thank you. All right, 12 minutes now past the hour. We'll take a quick break here at the news desk. We'll come back with some of the day's top news stories next on KFYR+.